Oh man, this case is crazy, man. I'm doing well, but I'm doing a hell of a lot better than Diddy. Let's get that out the way. And definitely a hell of a lot better than him. I meant to ask, are they confident they're gonna be able to get this man off? That's what I'm asking to win this case. Because you can have lawyers, hold on. You can have lawyers saying, I think they're doing good based on the hand they're dealt. They're doing an excellent job. I'm asking, are their chances improving or dissipating towards getting them off? Testimony resumed this morning from a former assistant using the pseudonym Mia. This is her second day of testimony where Mia said Combs physically and sexually assaulted her numerous times when she worked for him.
Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following content is intended for educational and entertainment purposes. Only what you are about to hear is a reading of verbatim federal courtroom testimony related to the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. Viewer discretion is advised. The following content is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. What you are about to hear is a direct reading of federal courtroom testimony from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as originally reported by Inner City Press.
It's huge, not only from the perspective that she talks about how she was wanted by Diddy, which is a big part of the prosecution's case, but it's also part of the racketeering case. Part of what they're trying to prove is a forced labor element of his racketeering case, essentially saying he had people like Mia working for days in a row under force of threats or coercion. What threats? There's threats that she has over text message of communications where he's saying, I'm going to tell everything. Things like assault that she experienced in her mind that might be told to Cassie and others that might.
Stephen A. Smith breaks his silence on Sean Diddy Combs' trial and the explosive new testimony from former assistant Mia. However, attorney Ryan Smith spoke with Stephen A. Smith on live television about the powerful testimony from Mia, a former assistant. To Sean Diddy Combs, he explained that Mia's claims are a major part of the case against Diddy, especially her accusation of sexual assault. But her statements go further by supporting the prosecution's racketeering charges. Mia said she was forced to work for long hours without rest, and under constant threats showing a pattern of forced labor. She claimed Diddy used fear and control to make her obey, including threats over text messages, where he warned he would reveal private things that could hurt her. Stephen A. Smith has broken his silence on the ongoing trial of Sean Diddy Combs, responding to explosive new testimony from Mia, a former assistant to the music.
So what they're trying to put together through Mia's testimony is a couple of different things. First is that there was an element of forced labor going on under Diddy, where people felt like they had to do things that were extreme under force of like threat or violence. She talks about how he threw a computer at her, threw spaghetti at her. That concern led her to be in this forced labor situation. She's also there to corroborate elements of Cassie's story. Cassie talking about the assault she went through, and now Mia talking about what she experienced as part of the overall case of Diddy having this criminal enterprise, having all these people working for him, planning certain things, doing certain things to cover up the crimes they believe he was committing.
Smith also shared that Mia described moments of violence, including Diddy throwing a computer and spaghetti at her, which added to her fear. Her testimony supports parts of Cassie's earlier story about abuse and paints a wider picture of Diddy running a criminal group according to the case. This group helped plan events and cover up crimes they believe Diddy committed. Mia's words are being used to show that Diddy's actions were not just personal, but part of a larger pattern of control and abuse within his circle. Smith also revealed that Mia recounted disturbing incidents of violence, including Diddy allegedly throwing a computer and even a plate of spaghetti at her, acts that intensified her fear and sense of danger. Her testimony echoes key elements of Cassie's earlier claims of abuse and contributes to a broader narrative portraying Diddy as the leader of a criminal enterprise. According to prosecutors, this alleged group not only helped organize events, but also worked to conceal crimes linked to Diddy. Mia's statements are being used to argue that his actions weren't isolated or personal, but part of a systematic pattern of control, intimidation, and abuse within his inner circle.
Woman talking about everything she went through working for him, working with him, that contributed to the elements of kidnapping and arson. Because you talk about that whole situation. We talked about this last week, Stephen A. The idea that Kid Cudi feels that he tried to bomb his Porsche. That's the arson part. So she's talking about all the different relationships that Cassie had with Kid Cudi, how Diddy found out, and the reactions he had. Coming to her house with a gun, forcing her to go one place. That's part of the forced coercion and all of this. And then doing these things like breaking into Kid Cudi's house. She talks about everything that happened there, and that He's then assigned to go and tell him not to talk to the police. All of this works into this criminal enterprise they're starting to talk about here. This idea that he owned or operated and associated this enterprise of doing crimes and had all these people doing things to help facilitate that. When we talked last week, we talked about, hey, where is all of this going? Now we're starting to see, Stephen A., where all this is.
Ryan Smith further explained to Stephen A. Smith that Mia's testimony goes even deeper into the case against Diddy. She spoke about her experiences working for him, which support accusations of kidnapping and arson. One major point involves Kid Cudi, who claims Diddy tried to blow up his Porsche, tying into the arson charge. Mia also talked about how Diddy reacted when he learned about Cassie's connection with Kid Cudi. She described Diddy showing up with a gun and forcing her to go somewhere against her will. Mia said Diddy later broke into Kid Cudi's home and ordered someone to tell him not to speak to the police. These incidents, she said, are all part of the larger picture. Of Diddy running a criminal network, Ryan Smith went on to tell Stephen A. Smith that Mia's testimony delves even deeper into the case against Diddy, shedding light on serious allegations including kidnapping and arson. Mia detailed her time working under Diddy, revealing events that align with claims made by others, most notably an incident involving Kid Cudi, who alleges that Diddy attempted to blow up his Porsche, supporting the arson charge. Mia also described,
it's not just about the accusations of sexual assault, the accusations of being a bad boss, the accusations of doing things, of threatening violence. It's the fact for prosecutors that he is doing all of these things to sort of facilitate criminal activity, and then on the other end, involving all these people to do these things for him, to either conceal it or to keep it going, and then doing it under force of threats or coercion, saying to people like Mia, you do, or the insinuation is, hey, you don't do this for me, I'm gonna tell everything about what happened with you and me. You do selling somebody else. You don't come with me, I've got a gun, you gotta come with me even if you don't want to. This is the prosecution starting to lay out that most powerful case on racketeering. That's what they need to get the maximum time in jail.
Smith said prosecutors are now showing that this is not just about abuse or being a bad boss. It is about Diddy leading a group of people who helped him commit or cover up crimes through threats and pressure. The case now includes stories of violence, control and fear used to silence people and protect his secrets. Mia's story shows how Diddy threatened to expose her past if she didn't obey him. Smith explained that this kind of behavior fits the definition of racketeering, which is key for the prosecution to secure the highest possible prison sentence. Smith explained that prosecutors are now framing the case as far more than just allegations of abuse or toxic leadership. It's about Sean Diddy Combs allegedly leading a network of individuals who helped him commit and conceal crimes through intimidation and coercion. The case has expanded to include accounts of violence, manipulation, and fear, all reportedly used to silence victims and protect Diddy's secrets. Mia's testimony illustrates this pattern clearly. She claimed Diddy threatened to expose details about her past if she didn't comply with his demands. According to Smith, this type of calculated intimidation aligns with the legal definition of racketeering, an essential element for the prosecution as they aim to pursue the most severe penalties possible.
On a quick lunch break, Mia has been on the stand for about 2 hours now, and she's looking down the entire time in the testimony. Her voice is cracking. The prosecutors are laying a lot of foundation with regard to how long she worked for Combs, how many hours she worked a day. She talks about one time when she saw Combs assaulting Ventura, that she and Deontay Nash jumped on his back, tried to stop it. She was thrown against the wall. She's talking about another time when they were at a party for Prince. When Combs found out she was there, they ran through the party, started hiding, that Combs started assaulting Ventura. And then Prince's security jumped in. She talked about her first interview for the job as personal assistant, that it was at his home in New Jersey, and then he showed up at the door with his underwear.
Moreover, during a lunch break at the trial, a reporter shared that Mia had been on the stand for 2 hours, speaking softly with her head down, and a shaky voice. Prosecutors focused on her work hours and time with Combs. She said she once saw Combs assault Cassie Ventura, and along with Deontay Nash tried to stop him but was thrown against a wall. She also described a party for Prince where Combs attacked Ventura again, prompting Prince's security to step in. Mia said her job interview was at Combs' New Jersey home, where he opened the door wearing only underwear. During a lunch break at the trial, a reporter revealed that Mia had been on the witness stand for over 2 hours, speaking in a soft, trembling voice, her head lowered throughout her testimony. Prosecutors zeroed in on her working conditions and time spent with Sean Diddy Combs. Mia recounted witnessing Combs physically assault Cassie Ventura and said that when she and Deontay Nash tried to intervene,